So the Youth Strings program offers budding string players ages 3 to 8 the best in early music instruction. It's a developmentally appropriate program for kids interested in learning string instruments like violin or cello. And the private lessons and our group program kind of work in complement with each other to enhance the program experience. You kind of get that one-on-one attention in the private music lessons. And then in this program, they get a chance to really build their ensemble skills, learn to play together, learning how to follow one another, and all that wonderful stuff. And an adult typically attends the lessons in classes because of the family learning is a huge part of kind of building that initial support and the needs of the child in the program. And we are always looking for new beginners. So if you know someone out there with a 3 to 8-year-old that thinks the violin is cool or the cello is pretty neat, we'd love to see them in the program next year. So our Conservatory Youth Strings program is directed by Joel MacDonald, and who I'm covering right now. There we go. Karley Parovsky, Rudolf Sternadel, and Jonathan Ward. It's going to be accompanied today by Michael Dymund. And we do have a musicianship portion of the class that's taught by September Russell, and thanks to the Saskatchewan Orchestral Association support, we got some funding to bring in a couple student assistants this year, Katherine Achtzehner and Ryan Wheler, who I just wanted to acknowledge tonight. Tonight, this afternoon, today. But to start us off, I'll be introducing kind of each song, the songs in 2 sets for everyone, and I'll keep coming kind of in and out. But to start off, we're going to have all of our Youth Strings program groups perform Twinkle, a motorcycle stop stop, which is arranged by Suzuki. And then we're going to go to violins only playing Lightly Row, which is a traditional song. So next up, we're going to have Karley's group, and they're going to be performing Boil Them Cabbages. And then we'll have Joel's group performing Skye Boat Song, which is a traditional song that was arranged by Renata Bratt. And so those that are in Rudy and John's class, you can sit down while our youngest performers take the stage and to perform these two pieces. Awesome. So next up, we'll have all of the groups performing, so everyone can get back standing on stage. So everyone together, we're going to be playing another Twinkle variation, this time Watermelon, Watermelon, again arranged by S. Suzuki. And then afterwards, everyone except John's group can sit down for Romeo's First Change. Up next, we'll have John's group, you can sit, and we'll have Rudy's group stand up, because you are going to be playing Duet by F. Mazas. And then after they finish Duet, all the groups will stand again for our very last Twinkle variation, I Like to Color. So that was our last piece that we're playing all together. So Karley's group are heading off stage. If we want to give our littlest kids a little And then I believe our cellos are done as well. So if we want to give a hand to so last up we have kind of the two senior groups in the Youth Strings program. So John and Rudy's group combined are going to be doing two pieces. So Joys of Quebec and Devil's Dream, which are both traditional. And then John's group will exit and Rudy's group will play Concerto No. 5, First Movement by F. Seitz. All right, so now before we say goodbye, so don't leave the stage yet. We didn't tell these guys, but we have a surprise graduation ceremony prepared for you guys because you are all at a level where you can graduate into our youth string orchestra. So for those that aren't familiar, our kind of group programs progress from one to another. So our youth strings are for the 3 to 8-year-olds. So some of these players have been performing for, sometimes 4 or 5 years in their instrument. And then our youth string orchestra provides an opportunity for them to start more advanced part playing. You're going to be doing some more kind of note reading. So we wanted to acknowledge all the wonderful things that you guys have been doing in your studies and to celebrate that you are ready to go into the string orchestra. So Rudy has some certificates. I'm going to call you out one by one. And for families that are out in the audience, Rudy will pause with your kid if you want a photo opportunity, getting the certificate handed out. But we're going to start with Jacob. Perfect, come on. And then Shivani. And Jaden. And then Sydney can be with us. Sydney is here. Next person. And then Rachel can be with us tonight. So a round of applause for Rachel, even though she's not here. And then Luke, you're next. And then Claire. And last but not least, it's Taurus. All right, so thank you so much for joining us for the first performance. So like I said, we're going to just take a short break. We're going to reset the stage and get ready for our string orchestra, but we do hope you stick around. Kids will just be getting their instruments kind of sorted backstage, but we hope you can stay for the rest of the show. So next up on our program, we have the Conservatory Youth String Orchestra. So as the kids that we just handed out the graduation certificates, this is kind of the next step up for them. This is the group that they can join next year. And so it's for students ages 8 to 12, they have to have at least 2 years of playing experience, primarily in cello and violin, but it's open to viola and double bass players, but we know that you have to be of a physical size in order to play some of those instruments. And so this is usually kind of our string students' first experience with more intensive sight reading. They'll also learn to build some more independence as they're playing in multiple parts. But you'll see that we're also joined by some adults from our Regina Community Orchestra to kind of fill out our sound tonight. So thank you so much for the Regina Community Orchestra players for joining us. But without further ado, I'll hand the microphone in our director, Adrian Cassis. Will introduce the pieces that the group will be playing tonight. I keep saying tonight, I'm so sorry. It's today, this afternoon.
Hello everyone and welcome to our performance tonight. My name is Adrian Casas. I'm the director of the string orchestra here at the Conservatory. My first contact, as you can tell, I'm not from here. I immigrated back in 2003, and my first contact with Canada and with Regina was here at the Conservatory with this orchestra in a summer string workshop way back then. And then many years later, 2010, I graduated from university, and my first professional gig as a conductor was with this orchestra for a couple of years. I had to take a medical break, and then I'm happy to be back here one more time, 10 years later, to conduct this beautiful orchestra. As you can tell, this program is for students 8 to 12. And everybody on stage are, of course, young at heart at some point or another. And the thing is, we had, obviously because of the pandemic, we had a little bit of, low enrollment on the string section, particularly on the violin section. So I invited a couple of members from the Regina Community Orchestra to just fill out the section and make sure that we have a full string sound for the performance tonight. So we're going to begin with a couple of pieces. So the goal of the performance was to to start developing those orchestral skills that are necessary for the program. And one of them is obviously counting and subdividing, and also bow discipline as well. So the very first piece that we're going to introduce today is called Tops and Tails. All right, so the next piece, it's a little bit of, it was introduced a little bit of a tricky piece because it introduces rhythms like 6/8 and independent voices to the performance, right? So now, instead of subdividing and counting in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, they have to subdivide into triples, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and right? And so, you know, that can be a little bit of a mind twister sometimes. I remember when learning 6/8, it was a little bit tricky. Turns out the kids love this piece, and they learn it right away. So the next piece is called Sofka and Sam. a waltz now. Here is Polly Oliver. Thank you very much. The next piece is written a little bit, it became a little bit of a challenge because there is always alternating voices rather than everybody just playing at the same time. Now we have to count rests and we have to subdivide those rests, and that was the main challenge. It's like, normally we tend to play and then we see a rest and then we forget about the rest and then we play the next melody. Now we have to count the rest. So here is Divertimento. Piece. They love this piece because it's nice, fun, and simple, and super fast. Here is Donkey Trot. We're approaching the end of our performance. Pieces go really fast. So the next piece is a little bit more stylish, a little bit more let's say, musically oriented in terms of like it's going to the Baroque now. This was written in the 1700s. So here is Cabot. All right, and our last piece, and it's has been a blast teaching this group for the last year, actually, despite all of the challenges with the pandemic and everything. So this is our last piece. It feels like it's like hours of rehearsing, hours of working, hours of practicing, and then it just goes really fast at the end. So here's our last piece for tonight with this group. I would like to thank the members of the Regina Community Orchestra for helping out and filling out the string section, the violin section. Thank you very much. So here is Ostrich Waltz.
so on to our last performers of this afternoon. So since 2019, the Conservatory of Performing Arts has been proud to be the home of the Regina Community Orchestra. And this orchestra is for anyone in the community who is looking for a space to just keep up playing their instrument, ages 13 plus. So whether you grew up, playing in your school band program, or you took lessons as a kid and it's been a little while, or maybe you're just learning to play an orchestral instrument for the very first time, we would love to have you in the orchestra. We usually take new players in September and January each year, and there is no audition to join. You just have to have at least about 2 years playing experience is usually suitable for adults. But coming out of the pandemic too, we wanted to fill a gap that we noticed between our youth string orchestra and the Regina Community Orchestra. So we did start a conservatory youth orchestra. So without an audition, we're hoping to provide a space for maybe late starters, so kids that have started violin and cello and they haven't had a chance to play in our string orchestra yet, and they're looking for an ensemble experience, or for students in our private lesson studios that are looking for just an ensemble to play in if their school doesn't have a band or an orchestra. So the youth players that have joined us tonight, they meet with 15 minutes before with our director to improve their skills before joining a combined rehearsal with the Regina Community Orchestra. So we'll be hearing a member from our youth orchestra and the players from the Regina Community Orchestra tonight. But without further ado, I'll pass it over to our director. Again, we'll have Adrian Cassis is the director for both of these groups, and he'll introduce tonight's program for you. So welcome to the stage, Adrian, and our concert master as well. Yes.
All right, welcome everyone, long time no see you. All right, so as Erika mentioned, this is the Regina Community Orchestra. The orchestra has been around for over, I want to say now, over 40 years, because when I started with the orchestra, it had been around for over 35 years. And that was like back 2013. So now I'm thinking like it's gotta be over 40 years. What year? Almost 50, so yeah, and some of the members that you see here have been here since conception, so basically since the beginning of the orchestra. So yeah, obviously the pandemic has created a little bit of struggles for us. Particularly, we used to have 35 members in the group, closer to 40, and with the pandemic now we're back to like 10, low numbers. So we encourage you to, if you dust off your instrument, start warming up for the summer, and then join us starting in the fall. You don't need to audition, you're not competing for your spot. The only thing is you just have to, be ready to play and have a good attitude, and then we will welcome you and we'll welcome everyone. So with the pandemic and with a little bit of struggles, this concert, it has a little bit of a bittersweet sentiment to it, because unfortunately we lost a couple of members of our group. One of them was Andy Anderson. Andy Anderson was one of the founders of the Community Orchestra and also a board of directors of the Saskatchewan Orchestral Association. And we lost him in this year. And also one of our beloved members, our oboist, Lindsay Not yeah. He unfortunately he passed away recently. So this concert is going to be dedicated to the memory of those two beloved members. And what a great, appropriate title to start with the concert, with a piece that kind of prompts us to start playing again and moving our fingers and moving our chops again. So here is Great Beginnings. Thank you very much. And normally with this group, because of the instrumentation and whatnot, we play like arrangements that are flex arrangements, so that you can alternate the voices and put different instruments on different voices and whatnot. Except for this one. This one coming up is a Baroque piece, and it's Baroque. So we were able to accommodate the voicing a little bit more authentic. Obviously, you will see things that are a little bit anachronistic, like a trombone that wasn't belonging to a Baroque orchestra. But it's a nice arrangement, and it just fits perfectly with the instrumentation that we have. So here is Fanfare Rondeau. right, so we're going to go back in time a little bit, and we're going to start. We're going to back to Roman times, and who was the god of fire in Roman times? Anyone? God of fire. If I go like this. Thank you very much. Yeah, Vulcan was the god of fire. So, yeah, my geek coming out. Anyway, so the next piece is inspired on the god of fire. It is Vulcan's Forge. So the next piece was inspired a little bit on medieval castles. The composer, Victor Lopez, took a trip to Slovenia and was visiting these like medieval castles that were the head of the government at that time, and standing on a cliff, super powerful structures. And so the next piece he called Residence of the Lord. So our group, it's progressive in terms of it. We start with pieces that we can, obviously in the summer, we put away the instrument and we don't practice, and then comes back the fall and we realize, oh shoot, I have to practice really hard in 1 week. And then, so we start with, with smaller pieces, and eventually we build harder pieces, and then by the end of the rehearsal, by the end of the season, then we were able to pull, a little bit more intricate performances. So the next piece is a little bit, it's a little bit faster and a little bit more active than the other pieces. So here is Right Through the Valley. popish, more rock kind of music. For copyright issues, we cannot say what this piece is inspired for, but this is your test for tonight. You're going to tell me the name so that I don't infringe on copyright issues, and the bill is on you. So here is Rock Solid. Our last piece for tonight is Flamingo Road, but before we proceed to our last piece for tonight, I would like to thank everybody for showing up today on this rainy, humid day. I would like to thank the Saskatchewan Orchestral Association for supporting programs like this. We wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the Saskatchewan Orchestral Association. So thank you to Elaine Kalustian, the Executive Director of the SOA. I also want to thank the Conservatory of Performing Arts for their wonderful job in supporting our programs and continuing our programs despite all of the struggles during the pandemic. So here is for you, Flamingo Road.